What's going on? Welcome to a brand new and very loud edition of the Build Series here in New York City. My name is Kevin Kenny, and happy Friday. We have made it to the weekend, guys.
Word.
And we are ending it on quite the high note. Now, I've been a fan of our guest today since he was rocking Ray Lewis jerseys, dancing with Biz Markie on 106 in Park. Anybody else? He has come a long way since then. He scored #1 hit records. He was one of the artists of the decade named by Billboard for the 2000s, and he's back today with brand new music. Let's give a round of applause to Mario.
What's up, what's up? What's up, man? What up, everybody at home?
You remember those days? You remember those 106 in Park days?
Of course. What do you mean? I've been talking about it all week. Those were the days, man.
Bro,
like,
summer 02?
There was no Instagram. There was none of that. There was just like you had to tune in.
There was that #1 spot, and you were there every single day, man.
Man, because of y'all.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously, give it up for you guys, man. But no, I want to start at the beginning, not just there, but you are from Baltimore, Maryland. That's right.
Facts, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. The Ray Lewis jersey makes a lot more sense.
Absolutely. I shot the video in Baltimore, too.
Yeah, and then you got Biz in the Wizards jersey, so the DMV connection's right there. I dig it.
Exactly.
But you started doing all this, man, at 11. You're doing talent shows down there in Baltimore?
Well, I actually started at home in my grandmother's living room, to be honest. And then my talent was noticed by my mom and my family, and just singing in talent shows as I got older. But it started in the living room with the mic that tuned into the radio. And my mom woke up one day and she noticed that I was like singing along with, I think it was either Boyz II Men or Whitney Houston song, and I was actually holding the note like on the right key, singing the wrong words, of course. I didn't know English, like I couldn't speak English like that, but I was a kid. So yeah, and she kept music around me, and she was a piano player herself, so I just think it was in my genes.
Totally.
Yeah.
And what it's in your genes, certainly, but I also want to ask you about just the city of Baltimore and the DMV area as a whole, because what is it about down there that fosters this incredible R&B music that comes out, like you or Drew Hill? Some of my favorites are from the DMV area and Baltimore. So what is it about that area? Yeah,
I mean, New York, Baltimore, Philly, the East Coast, like I just feel like there's a lot of just talent, man. There's so much talent packed into these small spaces, and there's a lot of culture and just people that want to express themselves in different ways. Baltimore, for example, you say you got Drew Hill, but now you got a lot of young rappers coming out of Baltimore, artists like painters coming out of Baltimore. There's a lot of talent there. So I just think it's a city that breeds a lot of talent, like a lot of places in the world. Yeah,
definitely. Mm-hmm. Is there a Baltimore sound? Because you think about regions in America, there is the Atlanta sound, there's the New York sound, there's that West Coast vibe. How would you describe the Baltimore sound?
Well, if I was describing when I was growing up as a teenager, we had like Baltimore club music. So like a mixture of like go-go and like upbeat club, like y'all know like if y'all been to Baltimore before, y'all know Baltimore club music, yeah. And then I think that evolved into like even some pop artists use like those types of samples in their music. I kind of used some of it in a record I did called Go with Pharrell on the Go album. And, that was the influence from there. But other than that, I think DC is more like go-go club music, live vibes. So that's where that vibe come from. That's how I would describe it, yeah.
Definitely. Well, it started in the living room. Obviously, it translates to the talent shows. But when you are as talented as you are, it's undeniable. And, of course, you're going to make your way at some point to New York City. You do that, and you meet who? Clive Davis at, like, 14 years old?
So, yeah, I got adopted when I was, like, 13. And then I met Clive through my first manager, sang for him in his office, and he had just signed Alicia Keys. Y'all ever heard of her before? Anybody ever heard of Alicia Keys before? Of course. He had just signed Alicia Keys, and I actually watched her rehearse Falling before like everybody like knew what it was, and I was just inspired that he was signing all this talent. I'm like, yo, I want to be a part of this squad. Like this is
you
where
were inspired. You weren't intimidated. You see all you're you see all these names. You're not like scared at all?
I got scared when I started recording in the studio. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like the long hours, the retaking the songs, and I had no idea at 14 that I would have to sing a song 1,000,000 times before they got one take. And it's just like, how many takes do you need? Like, you know what I mean? But I had, I was brought up when like raw talent was, you were taught things. There was artist development. You were taught how to work studio equipment. You were taught how things worked, and I really used a lot of what I learned on this project, like really making real music and like getting in the studio playing instruments. You'll see on the credits, your boy on the instrument credits now. It's not just writing. Like I actually played drums, I played piano and some stuff like. So yeah, it was
it all, man.
Yeah, I really explored on this album. I'm excited.
Now, I got to take you back to one night in particular because I've never heard you talk about it, and maybe I just have missed the interviews where you have, but Clive Davis, of course, has the famous pre-Grammy party every year. It's like the it party in town, whether in LA or New York City. In 2002, you're like 14, 15 years old. You have to perform at this thing in front of all these famous...
It's really hot, but I want to sip it because my...
Is it very hot tea?
Hold on, bear with me real quick. Let me just...
Round of applause.
Yeah. Y'all know when y'all want some tea, you take that first sip and it's hotter than you thought it was going to be. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
But take me into this room, 2002 Grammy pre-party.
Okay.
I mean, you have to have vivid memories of this. Who's in the room?
Absolutely.
Who's watching you? What do you sing? What are the emotions?
So the stage is like 2 times higher than the stage. There was Beyonce and Jay-Z sitting right here. Bon Jovi was over here. I want to say Carlos Santana was sitting behind him. Steven Spielberg was on the right-hand side over here. And then there was just like a bunch of producers and writers spread out. Pharrell was there. Nerd was there. Everybody in their mind was there. You know, it's just a party that like everybody in the industry that loves music wants to come and enjoy this festivity to celebrate music. Little did I know, as I was performing, I see us in the park, rolling the summer days of imaginings in my head and words from my heart. I was singing a Stevie Wonder song, and he pulled up behind me on the piano. Like they rolled him in, and he was playing the piano. Little did I know. And I turned around, and I was just, my mind was blown, because he's one of my favorite like artists growing up.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. So that was my first experience at the Cloud Party. It was insane. Yeah.
That is incredible, man. And then another behind-the-scenes story I got to ask you about that I wasn't privy to either, but researching you, that Let Me Love You. The smash hit, the former #1 smash hit.
I'm going to perform that for y'all today, too.
That is coming up. He's not lying. That's real. Neo wrote that, or helped write that.
Yeah, he did. He did.
That's like before Love, So Sick and all this.
Yeah.
So what was Neo like back then?
I mean, Neo was cool, man. Like, he was a karate kid. Like, he was, like, always, like, doing karate around. Like, his handshake was a karate move. Like, when he dapped me up, he was like, "What's up, man? How you doing?" Like, you know how Neo's very, you know, he's a gentleman. He really is like that. He's very, but yeah, he had slap kick you with his left foot if you get out of hand. Nah, but he was, man, listen, he was a super cool dude, very intelligent, very, very free in spirit. You know, what I remember, I was young, it was a lot going on at the house because it was a lot going on. We rented like this big house, and Scott had studios. It was 2 places we had. He had another house with another studio in it, and everybody was coming constantly to the studio. So there was like us working on a project, but then outside the studio was constant like people coming through, dropping all his jewelry, all types of crazy stuff to Scott, and then we over there making like classics. And it was a lot, you know, I was exposed to everything at one time. It was crazy, but Let Me Love You came out of the 20 records that we recorded in there, as well as like this record I had called Call the Cops. What was the other record we did in there? I don't know if that we did in there, but I remember Scott did a track to a record called Couldn't Say No. I don't think that was on the same album. I'm getting them mixed up. But yeah, it was a fun time.
Special time.
Yeah.
You know who is a big fan, apparently, of Let Me Love You?
Who's that?
According to Instagram, is Drake. You see this recently?
Yeah.
Got a clip of that Drake posted you on his, that we've had to bleep
Mario
out,
said,
by the way, Drake.
Me in front of
So
a samurai fall for this one. Yeah, fact.
Now,
Shout out to Drizzy.
do you know Drake? Like when this, how do you?
Yeah, we
hear
met
about
multiple times. Actually, Larry Jackson, who's now works at Apple, who was at J Records back in the day, he actually DM'd me this, and we were laughing about it. And yeah, so shout out to Drake for showing us some love. But yeah, shout out to Director X, man, because we shot this in Toronto. Director X, he just had the movie Superfly come out. Y'all go check that out. But he's a really creative director, and I think he really understood the aesthetic we wanted to go for, something fun, something artistic, yet the story was held in this was like my apartment in the video, and I had art, I had everything I was into. I collect swords at home. Like, I never show people, but I have like all types of swords and knives at home. So I was always into like martial arts and samurais and ancient stuff. So yeah, that's where that came about. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. All right, let's jump to present day, because
Fact.
today is a special day. I love talking to artists at any time, but it's kind of a just an additional kind of special vibe when you're talking to somebody on the day they drop their song. You dropped Drowning today. You premiered it over at Billboard this morning, which we
shout out to Billboard. Thank you. Yeah.
The music video as well. Now, talk to me about the song and talk to me about all these women you're in love with that inspired the song.
Man, well, the song, this is actually one of the last songs I recorded on the album. And it was just a real situation. I had just broke up with my ex like 3-4 months maybe before I wrote the song. And I met someone else, and I wasn't looking to go like on dates. I wasn't, none of that. It was just a vibe. When we met each other, we started off as friends, and then one thing led to the next, and we hit it off pretty quick. And probably too fast for me personally, but I liked her a lot. And in the midst of us having intimate moments, there were thoughts of my ex. And like, when I went in the studio, and we started this song from scratch. The chords that he was playing on the piano was just like taking me to that space. And I started singing the melody. I'm like, na 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 na, while I'm still thinking about you. That was the first words I had, while I'm still thinking about you, and then everything kind of like built around that. And I just started telling the real story. I never thought I'd be in between her legs while I'm still thinking about you. It was just a real. It's like, I'm gonna tell a real story. I mean,
not shy.
Somebody can relate to me out there. I don't know.
You guys really?
Oh nah, they being shy right now. They're like, has anybody out there? It don't have to be verbatim, but has anybody out there ever like kind of have left the situation or relationship, and then like they meet somebody new, but they haven't been over their ex yet? Raise your hand if you ever been through that. I want to hear. I want to hear her story. We're gonna come back to your interview.
A microphone,
but I want to.
Audience member.
Yeah, I really want to know.
No, I like this.
Because I want to know that.
You're in therapy.
I'm not the only one who.
I can relate to what you're saying.
Oh, you just okay?
Yeah, I can.
Can I hear a little bit about like not the details, but just
like full names?
Yeah,
Social security number.
So how is just? But you don't have to give name and internal details like me. But I'm an artist. I bear myself for y'all. So, but you don't have to. But a little bit of the story.
A little bit of the story. Yeah. So we broke up, and I just couldn't let go, like mentally. Yes. So I was with the person and kind of forcing it.
Wow. So you were forcing the situation, but did you like him though?
I liked them, yeah.
Right.
But I didn't love them.
Right. Did he know that like you had just gotten out of a relationship? So he had no idea.
He knew, but he didn't know how deep.
So how did you guys end up trying to like be together or anything?
Yes, but I couldn't. Like, you can't force your heart.
How did you break it off with him?
I'm
just curious how women do it. I'm curious how. No, look. I'm curious how women do it. Because guys, sometimes we can be a little harsh. We start like we just disappear or.
I have a personal question.
Hold on. She got to answer this. How did you break it off?
I said the truth.
I love it. See? Come here. We got to share this moment. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate that. Thank you. See, they clapping for you back there. Look, they showing love.
And she's going to get a performance later. Wow.
Yeah.
Quite the Friday. But the question I wanted to ask you is that do you think that it is possible to just wind up with one person? You know, that old adage of your soulmate or that one and only person? Do you
Absolutely.
think that person's out there, or is this just you're always going to want different people?
I 100%. But I think that person comes when you're at in wholeness with yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that person comes when you're like in your power and, you know, in your fullness, in your authenticity. Yeah. I don't think it comes when you're looking for a void to fill.
Right.
And oftentimes we open up to situations where we're not really ready to.
Totally.
Because we're scared to be alone, or we don't like being alone, or we haven't really faced our own shadows, if you will.
You wouldn't be talking about anybody here, would you?
No, and I'm not talking about nobody in here. No, I'm just saying. No.
I like the segue you're setting me up for.
We all experience that.
That's exactly where I'm going. The album is due out this fall at some point. We don't have a release date yet, right?
Well, it's definitely coming out late fall, just not the exact date.
Okay,
yeah.
We have a month?
We'll say the end of September, top of October.
I like that.
Yeah.
My birthday's in October. That's like Scorpion season. I dig it.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely Scorpio season. Who's Scorpio? Scorpio's in the building?
Scorpio's in the building?
This is a birthday
Nice,
present
like
for
that.
you.
I like it. October Scorpio or November Scorpio?
November?
All right.
Nice. Yeah.
So Dancing with Shadows, though, man. There's
Dancing
the title,
Shadows.
And then, of course, there's the story that led to the title. Why name it Dancing with Shadows?
Dancing Shadows. The reason I named it Dancing Shadows is for this simple concept. You know, it's about dimensions of yourself, you know, and growing up in the industry, sometimes I never got a chance to like explore these parts of myself. So this hiatus that I was on really gave me a lot of times to go through real things in life, you know, use those experiences, references moving forward, make more mistakes, live life, you know, so that I could write music and have experiences that weren't coming from other people's lives and, you know, other writers. And I like working with other writers, but for me, this album represents, you know, the coagulation of all these experiences and all these thoughts and ideas. Even I'm into mysticism, I'm into crystals, I'm into like spiritual things. So it's just a little bit of that in there as well. So you're really getting a sense of who I am as a person, along with, you know, my gifts from God.
That's awesome, man. Was there anybody in the room that said you should have named the album Coagulation?
No. Oftentimes,
I do like that word.
It's like I always try to find words to explain.
No.
Oftentimes, when I'm in the studio working, I make people uncomfortable on purpose because I think that that's a great place to start creating from.
Right.
I feel like when
Outside
we're
of your comfort zone.
Yeah, like I feel like when we're because that's happened to me as an artist. You're put in uncomfortable situations all the time, and you have to learn how to cope with them, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna take this same concept and apply it to working with producers and writers. So I ask questions that may be uncomfortable. I ask questions that aren't the norm to ask in a session because I want to unwrap and unveil these parts of a person because they create differently from a different space.
Totally.
You know, so the energy flows different. And I think that's a real thing. I've saw it happen. I've seen it work. I see it work every day. I see people doing energy work every day in their jobs. I see how certain people who are very successful, how they think and how they psychoanalyze people. Like, I think it can work the same way in music.
Definitely, man. That's a really cool approach.
Word.
All right, let's turn it over to these fans. They're going crazy for you. We got the first question right here.
Ashley.
Hi.
Mind
Look,
you,
how do you know her name?
Because I've known this. She's been a fan. I mean, we've known each other since I was 17 years old.
17.
Like, I've seen her at so many shows and so many events.
What was the first Mario show you went to?
He did a free performance in the park in Philly. It was the day before his 18th birthday, actually.
Oh
Wow.
God.
See, I didn't even remember that was the day, but
Wow.
yes. See, that's why she's a fan.
That's amazing.
Right. And I actually, if you guys anybody following me on Instagram, I actually posted a beautiful gift that she gave me when I had a show in Rhode Island. She actually also paid for a VIP to come backstage, and she gave me this gift along with another amazing fan that's here, that's next to her, if y'all can see. But so thank you guys for always being there. Appreciate it. It was a crystal. What do you call it?
Like the picture was.
Yeah, it was a crystal infused with me and my mom's picture in it. It was a beautiful gift. So thank you.
You're welcome. So my question was, your new single, Drowning, did you write or co-write it?
Yeah, I wrote this record with another writer by the name of Milton Adams, who came in towards the tail end of it, but definitely helped to piece some of the records together. But the story that I told you was like pretty much verbatim, you know. So, and it wasn't even hard to write the record because I knew what I wanted to say. I just had to say it in a way that it makes sense for a song. And Drowning was the top line I picked because I felt like when you're immersed in something, you're drowning in it, you know. So that's how it came about. Yeah.
And you were telling me backstage a little insight into the record we're going to get this fall. A lot of it was written and produced in London.
Yeah. So, good point. So, after recording with a lot of writers and producers in the U.S., I went to this event in London. It was a BMG brunch. It was at the NoHo Hotel. And it was a lot of writers, some from the U.S., but most from London, a lot of writers and producers. And this guy by the name of Jake Gosselin was there, and he worked with Ed Sheeran and a lot of other dope artists, Shawn Mendes. He's just a super creative, musical person. And he had 17 tatted on his hand. And I'm like, 17 is one of my angel numbers. I'm like, what? Like, you know, what does that number mean to you? And we started talking about everything under the sun. And that led to us setting up a studio session, which led to us working in the studio on most of the project with a few other producers at it.
Definitely.
And London was the place I chose because it was just outside of the norm for me as far as, you know, working in the studio. We were out like in the middle of nowhere. It was just a free thought, open space, Yeah, it was something fresh.
Getting back to your theory, though, like getting out of your comfort zone, that's when the best art is created.
I agree.
All right, let's get to the second fan question from way in the back, my fellow Scorpio.
Hi, my name is Jessica. Are you working on any new movies?
Good question. So I just actually met about a few movies that are in the process of being created right now that I'll be reading for after I finish this promo run. So yeah, I'll be stepping back. And I've read for a lot of movies that has come out. But sometimes you just don't get the roles. But I've read for them. But that's definitely something that's on my to do. And also doing my own content, because I have a lot of ideas about films that I'm actually writing right now. I have like 4 ideas that I've written out. So yeah, you'll see more of that from me for sure.
That's really cool. And now in this day and age of like streaming and whatnot, you can just do it yourself.
Absolutely. I just feel like the kids in this millennial are ready for some more creative, open-minded, new concepts, out there. So, and I'm looking to work with new and up-and-coming writers too. So, hey, Instagram, DMs, like, let's work. Let's go. I'm ready to get creative.
Do you want to put anything out there into the universe of somebody you want to collab with? They can be.
You know what?
They can be new.
I really like Jordan Peele's work. I think Jordan Peele has, a really creative mind and a very interesting approach to his shooting style. And also his stuff is always rooted in like human psychological and human experience, stuff. So I like movies like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to turn it over to the audience one final time before you perform. Right here.
Hi, my name is Shantae.
Hey, Shantae.
What is a typical off day for you?
A typical off day. Let's say, if I'm off, but I'm in another country or off home?
In another country.
Okay. So I was recently in Amsterdam, and I had an off day, and I wake up, I work out, and then I tell everybody I'm going to chill for the day, but I really like to go around the city by myself. And they're like, you need security? I'm like, nope, I don't want no security. I don't want nobody with me. I want to move around the city by myself, No, I don't want none of their bias as to where I should go. I just like to get lost. And I did. I definitely got lost there. I got hit by 2 bikes and almost got hit because everybody ride bikes there. Like literally, like the streets are like bikes. Their parking lots, you see nothing but bikes lined up. Like people like have been riding bikes since they were 12. Like I've seen like business dudes, they get their suitcase, full suited, they get on a pink bike. And they ride. I literally saw him like, yo, this is a real thing here. So you can get hit by a bike in Amsterdam, which I did. And then it's just a beautiful city. A lot of really old buildings, really old places. The canals are very dark in a sense, but beautiful in that way at the same time. And a lot of cool places to eat. So, yeah, that's like just me going around the city, meeting people. You'll see fans here and there. And then other people looking at me like, why are they taking a picture with this guy? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome. I got to watch out for those bikes if I ever go to
Definitely.
Amsterdam.
Because they won't stop. They'll assume that this could be a car.
Yeah.
This is.
I'm glad you wound up all right.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
All right, you are going to perform for us in just a little bit, but I just want to thank you for stopping by and having this conversation. Again, you at home, go out and stream, consume, however you get your music these days. Drowning is out everywhere, and keep your eyes peeled for that album due out this fall.